I, okay, got it. But I could reiterate what I'm asking for. I'm looking for a producer who can help me with the new podcast and show that will air on television nationwide. And I'd like to have a deadline for myself to reach that goal of scheduling my first shoot. And I don't want to use excuses like the makeup artist didn't, do a good job or anything like that. I'd like to keep a positive mind frame. And so maybe you guys have some tips of how I can do that. My challenge is the fact that I've been in media and I'm always thinking about my brand. And sometimes I just need to think about getting outside of my comfort zone with that. And so I need to work on that. That's a challenge for me. And I'd also like to do more of these masterminds because I feel as though I'm older, I'm 53, and I don't want to I have to be in the know, and reading the paper or just my limited circle and entertainment of those that are actually here in New York is not enough, sports and entertainment. So I'd like to, I'm often in Brazil, I'm often in Honda, Colombia, I'm all over the globe, Portugal, Spain. So I'd like to widen my network and make them a friendship. Like, I don't want to just do what I've been doing for 30 years in business, having people as like colleagues. I'd like to consider people as, build a friendship out of the relationship. I'd like to do that. And my aim is to always execute excellence. I come from a civil rights family. My very well known throughout the world. And so I've always had to be a certain way. And, I would like to be authentic because on this show that I'm producing or that I'm starring in, I'm not producing, I have to be brutally honest. And so I got to get over that. So my aim is to show Black excellence and at the same time, not be tacky with it. That's the aim for this show. And then my aim is to just be better in life. I wake up every day, I'm disciplined. I have a habit, 5 a.m. coffee. So I'd like to continue to do more of that and be healthy. My goal is to, like I said, have a date to do my shoot and to grow my friendship base and not think of people as just colleagues and work friends. I would like to have lifelong friends and relationships that I could build on and pass along, knowledge and information to other people that are looking for it. Sometimes people who aren't. And that's it. I'd like to hear from you guys. I know it sounds trivial what I'm asking for, but a closed mouth don't get fed, as we say.
All right, I'll start. And the way this works is just raise your hands with the reactions, and it starts a little line here. So, clarifying question, is the purpose of the show to pass along knowledge in some specific genre?
Yes, the purpose of the show, it's a critique style show, critiquing a reality franchise that's well known, but some of the things that they do, like I just would like to interject with common sense quotes or like I just said, a closed mouth don't get fed, and based on what that episode is about during that season. So the show will have each episode will be about the previous episodes, and it'll be two people with two different opinions, but there is a learning lesson because my partner is a doctor in education at Carlow University. So that's to answer your question, there is an educational piece in it as well.
And the role of production you're looking to hire, this person will communicate, or is more of like someone on the back end who's just making sure you get the recording, uploading it, editing it, and doing kind of what you do for Drew Barrymore, which is, you know, kind of being the final sign off on anything that is produced.
Correct. This person could be virtual or in person, and they should have knowledge. You know, I would like to learn as well, but like everything that they do will be uploading. Also, producing a show is adding to content ideas. So yes, maybe even scheduling if there's a special guest. You know, I have the contacts, but I don't want to make the call. Sometimes they'll have access to that.
And your show will be something that's done in the studio, like you expect to have a certain background as well, and will that person have say on that creative?
Thanks for asking. That's important. So I do have a green screen. So I would like that person to be able to use my art or whatever the graphic designer uses, or I can create my own corner. So the studio is in-house because we're on a split screen with Zoom call like this with the host, and the show will be like that, like a Zoom call content. You know what I'm saying? That happens, like podcasts that you might see on YouTube. There are two people in two different places. And I think Zoom can facilitate that.
Gotcha. And what is this? Will you be doing a pitch first? So is this like a series, almost like a staged rollout, where first you need to do some number of shows that will be for the pitch to the channel, and then, you know, they'll either accept it or not? How does that work?
So yes, yes and no. So I have pitched them already, and I have the information format in which I should send them. So I do need to have one or two pilots, one or two episodes to show them, but not long episodes. So it's a 25-minute show on television. For YouTube, I'd like it to be a little less, or podcast style less, of course, less minutes, but for television, 25.
So you guys have any questions for Sabrina before we start giving her some feedback? Yeah, go ahead, Emilio.
I couldn't find the hand raised, but Sabrina, I just wanted to ask you, is there a specific network that you want to pitch to, would be like your ideal network to work with?
Yes. So I have one on Fox that's definitely interested, one of Fox's networks. And I also have the show running team that produced the show that I'm on, I Quit, which is called ITV America, which are the largest television reality show distributors and producers in the country. They produce everything from like Queer Eye to Straight Eye to Survivor, so American Idol, et cetera, et cetera.
And I think from what I understand, is it going to be a video podcast that is also going to be put out on television, but you would like to keep it as well on YouTube with the network's channel that they have on YouTube, or?
Correct. Well, I would like to be able to house the footage on YouTube privately, so when it's time to upload, we can upload from there. I heard that that was a way to do it if I were to do it myself, but I don't know if there's a better way. So that's why I'm saying with the YouTube. So yeah, I would have to know how to upload the footage to the network. And if someone produces it and has that capability that's different than YouTube, I'm willing to listen to their ideas, other options.
Yeah, I mean, with the YouTube version, that the option that you were talking about, like I have like experience with that. That's how I normally do all of my podcasts, all of my shows. So really, whatever sort of help you need, I'm also here to help you for producing. I produce all my shows, so I can send you and see if like there's any alignment with what you're doing and the sort of format that you want.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I've shared my email in the chat for everyone.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so we have 4 more minutes of clarifying questions, and we're just gonna jump into feedback. And the feedback portion is just going to be super direct. Just like Emilio, that was a good version of feedback. And Sabrina's not gonna talk during that time. So any more questions you have for her, raise. What's up, Wozan?
I have few questions. My first questions, have you planned, at least how I understood it, it's creating episodes, like have you planned the first few episodes, how they will look, what the topic is?
Yes,
And have you planned a date by which you'll be shooting at least the first few episodes?
yes, I do have an idea of the first season that I'd like to start, and that's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Their new season starts in February, so I would be able to start in February. I think February the 15th, I believe.
All right, any other questions? You know how to use the hand, George?
I'm usually quiet. Yeah, I'm pretty clear based on the last couple of comments.
All right, you guys have any other questions? All right, so let's dive into the next portion. So we're gonna run it for 30 minutes since we have a pretty small room. Let's just get in and get out and give Sabrina as much feedback as possible. No feedback is bad feedback. You know, in my last mastermind, I shared with someone who's been in business for 20 years that they need a better business coach. Who am I to say that? And she said that that was a great piece of advice. So you never know what'll stick. Sabrina will take the recording with her and use it as she chooses with whatever information she sees. It's the same way that we did the clarifying questions. Just raise your hand and you could jump right in. My feedback, Sabrina, is like, I know you, and there's something that has stopped you, and so or has prevented you from making this a reality. So my feedback to you would be, look at what it is that is preventing you from making it a reality and turn that into an opportunity to make it a reality. So that could be anything from like your habits or your resource pool, but knowing you, I don't think it's like resource pool because you're super resourceful. So whatever it is that's preventing you from making it a reality, change that and you'll have success. Go ahead, what was that?
So from my perspective, I might be wrong actually, but the thing that I got from what you've explained, the producer, it's too broad word. So if I were you, like I would draft what task that guy needs to be doing for me or will be helping with me, like starting from the most important things that I can't do. So I will be expecting him or her to do to support my project, and then going broader with other tasks that are good this person to be able to do for me. But if he's not doing them, like I'll be doing, so that they're not that critical. So yeah, basically like a job resume I would create, so I'm 100% well aware what I'll need from this guy to support my project. Then for the person, like I can't help you with this because like I have no clue what the producer do, but like Emilio probably will be one who can help out. If he can't help, like it's really good to search for, since your deadline it's in 2 weeks, I guess, like 15th of February, it's pretty close deadline. So hiring this person basically if you had like a longer time period to hire a person, you can check many options or experience with different people to see whether they're fit. But since your deadline it's really strict and it's 2 weeks, if I were you, I would try to search a recommendation to hire this person from friends or colleagues, or a great network from LinkedIn. So these are my 2 cents, like a clear picture what this person will needs to do, and how will he support my project. And then I would trust a really trusted person, since the deadline is knocking on the door, through connection or people who've worked with such type of producers.
Thank you. What was on? Katrina?
So Sabrina, I'm not familiar with the process of that industry. However, I have been, I'll probably share my modeling experience, because I've heard you speaking. You said twice that you worry about the makeup, you worry about things like that. So I think it's very important that you just have like a team of a makeup artist, and maybe I would find a designer that you like, and you may reach out to them on Instagram, and I'm sure they would be like happy even to dress you up for maybe for a credit, for like credit on social media or credit on a YouTube channel. Like, I'll share from my experience. There was a time when I arranged like a photo shoot for myself. So I just reach out to a couple photographers, I reach out to a couple designers, and then makeup artists. And I don't have to, as a model, I don't have to worry how I look, what I'm dressed in. I think by creating this team for yourself of designer and a makeup artist and hairstylist, it will take like a lot of worry off your shoulder, because with girls, we really like concerned about how we look. But I don't think that this is something you should be worried about, how you look. And I think there is like a team who you can find even without budget, who would be happy to do it for you. I mean, even if I could do it, I'm sure you would be able to find somebody. And this is not something you should be worried about.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Katrina. Moro?
So I've been thinking if there is a way that I can even provide value here, right? Because I don't live in the States. I don't have any connections or people that I know that I can put you in touch with. But I'll just try to extract any useful tip that I can from my experience in doing podcasting in the past 2 years. The route that I chose to take in the beginning was not to invest in my own equipment or anything like that at first. So I did work with production companies and other people that did do the work for me. And what I did was just receive the final product, market it myself, did the sales myself. What I was good at though was, I think, monetizing it and getting sponsors, since I only had 500 followers in the beginning. So I was resourceful at that. But what I can tell you is it does depend how much budget you want to allocate to this. For example, since I might be traveling to LA next week to record content as well, I've seen these studios that they just rent out by the hour, where they just take care. Like, the setup is really beautiful. It looks really nice. You just go there with your guest, you conduct the interview yourself, or the debate, or whatever it may be, and they take care of the audio recording, video recording, editing, and you just receive the final product ready to post. So if your budget is pretty healthy, in the sense that you say you just want to dedicate your energy to finding guests, creating your content, creating the script, and you just want the rest to be done for you, I would look into maybe doing that. You know, you don't have to worry about production quality. You just maybe research and give them 2 or 3 really nice examples of the format that you would like, and it would be done for you. But you know, when you talk about like makeup, I have no idea. I've never done makeup before in any of my interviews. I don't wear makeup, so I can't help you there. But if you do have a budget and you'd like the least amount of headaches as possible, I would look into doing that, because then you can just focus on the art of the content itself instead of the production.
Thanks, Moro. George?
Going after everybody else, a lot of stuff has already been talked about. But the thing that I would say that I'd be least worried about is being authentic. You come off as one of the most authentic people I've ever seen on a screen, so I wouldn't worry about that. I don't think I'd given moments of thought to that. The outsource piece, I couldn't agree with more. I think that's probably the key, other than, you know, there's a famous TED talk on different pieces of business that are most important. Timing's number one, which I've learned is probably true. That timeline's very aggressive. I don't know that you can, you know, sub-optimize and maybe stretch it out a little bit. But if you could, and you could put a little more thought behind it and maybe less nerves, that might play into your hand as well. You might be married to that. I get that. And I wish you luck.
All right, so how this goes is we got 23 more minutes. So the beauty of this is we can fire as many thoughts as Sabrina as we want. So I have a thought. George touched on authenticity. I think this show needs you. And so, you know, one of the questions you could ask yourself is, you know, am I making an impact? Like, I know you're not one to waste your time. So if you truly believe that this show is going to make an impact on others or going to make an impact on yourself, you know, the producers will love working with you. The show will be great because in this day and age, authenticity is what carries the day. And that is something that you have. So you know that you're going to be a rock star in that role. And yeah, that's kind of my feedback for right now. Katrina, do you have your hand raised, or is that okay? What was on?
Previously, when I was starting a new project or I wanted to do something, I always had the fear of like, what if people won't like it, or what if it fails? And from my experience, this is the worst thing like you should consider at all, like, because like 99% of the people won't try, even if it's like working with the worst producer or like without a producer. At the end of the day, what matters for the experience and like doing your stuff, it's like trying. And sorry, Turbo is joining the call constantly. So yeah, what I was saying, like if I were you, I would give 100% of like whatever the resources are to try and shoot the first few episodes that's experience, and like, and to see where it can take me, even if it's not with the perfect settings and like the perfect start you've dreamed of.
Thank you. What was on Moro?
Yeah, so I just wanted to add, based on how Brian described you and the things that he said about you, you're more than qualified to produce quality content for, you know, whichever, I think you said it was Fox. So for whichever outlet that you want to present it to, you really do have what it takes and even more. I wanted to say that if I would have waited until, let's say, a certain point where I was confident enough to put out content and start interviewing people, I wouldn't have started 2 years ago, probably wouldn't have even started today. So the first thing and most important thing you have to do is definitely you have enough people in here to give you like quality advice, at least the basic things you need to get started. And I think you should just get started. I think like Ryan said, maybe there's something that made you wait or put it off, procrastinate on it, but you have more than enough to do it. And it's really not as hard as some people make it seem. So don't wait, don't hide behind perfectionism at all. Just get started and you'll see that you're going to get momentum very quickly.
Thank you, Moro. Yeah, you know, and I was just thinking, and this creeps into my mind a lot. There's, you know, Fox, right? Fox is a big network. You know someone there. You probably value that person's time. You value how they view you. You may be thinking you may only have one shot. This may only be one network. So I think there may be some degree of like a scarcity mindset. And just realizing, Sabrina, that there's several networks and your career has been in doing just this. It's been putting media in front of buyers. So know that if Fox doesn't accept it because it's not perfect or because you can't control their decision or who's making the decision, know that there is a lot more names out there than Fox who's going to love Sabrina and love your show. Emilio.
Yeah, I love what everyone said and what Ryan just said. And just to give an alternative path, like what would happen if you take out the network completely and say, I'm going to build this myself. I'm not going to depend on anyone else to like distribute my content. Let me build my personal brand. And I think my resistance in getting over that was, I think I was afraid to shine. Like in the beginning, when I started the podcast, I had a co-host, and in many ways I was kind of hiding behind my co-host and like not really fully in my expression of who I am and what I was here to say and do in the world. So maybe even thinking about an alternative, you know, I don't need maybe the network. I can build this on my own. There's so many people that are like shooting up on social media platforms just by creating the content. And it's so easy, so much easier to get exposure nowadays. And really, I think in the end, it allows you more freedom with your direction, the creative process, what you want to create. Sometimes maybe just taking the network out of the equation can be an amazing opportunity too.
Thank you, Emilio. George.
I didn't want my comment on timing to be misconstrued. I couldn't agree more with what Mario said. Like the old concept that great is the enemy of good. Good works. You have that skill set, which is pretty clear. I think I would roll the dice on that date and just produce it.
Thank you, George.
George, can you repeat the sentence? Great is the enemy of good.
Yeah, I mean, some people, you know, you wait around for it to be great and you miss the opportunity to actually make money. I mean, sometimes good works.
All right, guys, the beauty of this thing is we got 17 more minutes of feedback for Sabrina, so keep rolling through feedback for her. You never know what'll stick. So I know you, Sabrina, and I know that your husband is relying on you for your brilliance in the professional soccer club. So what that allows me to believe is that there are other duties of which may be considered more important or priorities to you launching this show. What you do with that, I'm not quite sure. However, like Emilio was saying earlier, the reality is a lot of us are balancing a lot of things. And so, you know, there's an element of prioritization amongst all the things in which you're balancing. And then there's also the idea that some of the things that you're balancing may be better served in someone else's hands so that you can focus more on the priority. As an example, I watched Emilio go from working with, you know, another partner to having his own show. And I remember we were having conversations during that time, and Emilio was saying like, you know, I'm gonna have to start from scratch and things like that. And we're like not even a year in now. Emilio started from scratch. He has as big or bigger guests than he had previously, and he's like only like 6 months into this thing. So, you know, when you have a tremendous amount of focus on something that you're passionate about, especially you're going to have a lot of success in doing that. George, do you have your hand up? No? All right, guys, we got 14 more minutes of feedback for Sabrina. And
That
then
was
Billy.
15 minutes ago. This is all great, guys. Thank you. When does this 14 minutes end?
Hey, you're not supposed to be talking right now. What was on? You got something?
Hard to do when you got 3 voice chakras. Okay.
Yeah, I had something to build on Ryan, what he said that you're really busy. I mean, in this case, like really prioritization, like what is the most important, like this really helped me out throughout like the busy years, prioritizing tasks and focusing on like it's it's Pareto, the principle, the 20% of what you're doing are resulting into 80% of your results. So like if I were you, I would focus only on those 20% and prioritize everything based.
I'll jump in again. By the way, we got Billy in the house. Billy's a great friend of mine. And just got up. It's like 7 something Pacific time.
It's 8:17 over here.
Billy, you got any advice for Sabrina?
I just popped in, so I'm just soaking it in so I can just get the whole aspect of it, what it's all about, and be able to jump in. I'll probably jump in on the next one.
So Sabrina, you know, with this mastermind, this is a good example of something that you know, I wasn't sure about creating. I was actually waiting for me to get my media rights on Book Thinkers so I can reach out to more people on Book Thinkers when Katrina said, Ryan, you might not be getting those media rights, and why are you complaining all the time? Like, just start creating. So she actually pushed me in the direction of just creating something. And here we are now, you know, all of us on this call, not even a week later. So sometimes the obstacles, like I was saying earlier, aren't actually the obstacles. Another piece of advice you mentioned earlier, like your ability to mentor and be a mentee. I think you, like me, learn from people who are of all ages. And you also teach people of all ages. So I think more environments like this one, where your brilliance is so obvious and you're around supportive people who see your brilliance, will allow you to do these things with a lot more ease. As an example, I had a call with Billy, and Billy was just like, Ryan, like, you're one of my best friends. You know, you're one of the few people who care. You're doing these things because you care and you have a huge heart. And like, when you hear those things from people that you care about, it just drives you to want to do that even more. All right. Does anyone else have feedback for Sabrina? Is that it? All right, people are stretching and stuff. All right, well, since it's a small room and this is the first time, I can let us get rolling. What does that say, Sabrina?
14 minutes.
Normally with Pat, he just says, we got 10 minutes and just stands there, waiting for people to jump in. Anyone else have any other feedback for Sabrina on this? George? George, on mute.
Look, I think the bottom line is that, you come off as totally authentic. Your ability to outsource, I mean, you're running a professional soccer franchise, so you clearly have some ability to just outsource pieces that you have to. There are certain pieces that you're probably great at. If you can control those and move that timeline, I'd control those, at least, tactically for right now. But, it's pretty obvious to me that, you know how to do this process. To Ryan's point, maybe just take action and do it. And I don't mean that critically.
Thank you, George. Anybody else? Trina, you got anything else?
I'm just actually very excited now to see the first episode, Sabrina. Hopefully you find a great designer with authentic, the way you discussed before, how you want to be presented as beautiful, confident, and it just would be interesting and breathtaking show. Good luck to you.
Thank you all. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. But I'm serious. I
All right.
do.
Final words, Emilio.
Let's go. You got this. You got this. You got this. I know it's gonna go really well. I feel like your vision is clear, and I think the more you just take action, those incremental steps, you start finding the right people. You start attracting, what it is you want in the show, and I think it's gonna do a great job.
Moro?
I'm excited to see what you're going to produce for the first episode. I think based on the fire that Ryan just lit up from under beneath you, you're going to produce something in the coming month for sure. And I know that once you get going, it's really going to get big in a matter of time. I think you're going to be one of those, just like he mentioned about Emilio, that in less than the first year, you're going to be out there. And I think if I were you, I'd consider what Emilio said as well, of not depending on a network and maybe think about doing it yourself. I think then you have no limit at all whatsoever. So really think about that one.
All right, what was on?
I'm really excited to see the first episode. You're on the right track. Apparently, the mastermind here, I love it. Soon, I hope I'll be on the hotspot. It seems like really exciting. I saw this guy, and the last thing, it's really painful for me as a European when all the people are calling it soccer and it's actually a football. I'm joking.
All right. All right, guys. Well, that just about wraps it up. I actually think about what's funny, Sabrina, is what?
Can I say thank you? We're
Can
gonna
you
wrap
say-
it up. Can I say thank you to everybody? Is
Yeah,
there
of course.
time that I can say something?
Yeah, of course.
Guys, I really, really appreciate all of your feedback. I wrote everything down and I'll let you know how it goes on our next meeting, but I appreciate you guys honestly, and I thank you for your time and even thinking of giving me these ideas.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Stay passionate. It comes across.
What'd you say, George?
I said, stay passionate because it comes across.
Yes, will do.
So as we close out, well, first off, I don't know if you realized, but talk about a first show. I just had to move and kill my entire background and everything. So thank God I'm not looking for perfect and you guys are all cool.
At least get behind the light, bro. You
I
gotta.
know. That's your talent, Emilio, not mine. So as we close out, thank you guys again for joining. I'm gonna have another one next week where instead of a hot seat, I'm gonna bring in a guest speaker. If you can spend the next like 6 minutes and just try to respond to everybody's asks. I'm gonna email them out to you guys right now. Usually only takes like 10 minutes, but it's great to be able to support each other. One last final word to close out with. Just remember that it only takes one thank you, one smile, one act of listening to change one person's day. So go out, have an impact one person today before you go home at night to rest. Give one more virtual hug. All right. I'll send you guys an email and hopefully we'll see you next week. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks, Ryan. Nice to
Thank
see
you.
everybody.
Thank you.